everybody. We will get started. It is 5:30. I think. I hope it's not 6:30 and I'm in another time zone. And I just really want to thank you because I know that it is incredibly difficult to work a full day or to do other duties during the day and then to come to these evenings, these information evenings. But we are hoping that you get a lot of value out of today. Now there's heaps of seating, and I know that there's like a mob over there. There's like a large group of children who are ready to jump on the ferry now and make their way over. So if you guys want to come in here and join us, that would be great. If you are sitting over there, I will ask you to turn around this way rather than be facing each other. Some of the information that we're hearing today, that you'll be hearing, is a little different from our presentation that we did with you 2 weeks ago because we have more information. And again, parents, the students in Year 9 will also have another session tomorrow during their pause lesson, their pastoral and wellbeing lesson, and that lesson will cater a little bit more to some of the differences and things that will happen with the boys and the girls as well, and we'll explain that here today. But today is an information evening with regards to the Moreton Island camp. It will be hosted by myself and Gary Woodford, who is our Learning and Wellbeing leader, and many of you know Gary and have been in contact with Gary over different matters with regards to students in this year level. It is an opportunity to ask questions, and it is an opportunity to see what it is that the kids are going to be doing. And I think, want to be really clear about something. We talk for many, many years at this college about Damascus, and Damascus is something that the kids go on in Year 9. And put your hands up if your kids, previous students you've had here, have gone on Damascus. Exactly. So many of you know what Damascus was, and you may have an idea in your mind about what Damascus is. And I need you to remove that idea, because this is not Damascus. A few years ago, when COVID hit us, we were not able to do our full program, which is incredible. It's incredible. And this is my 3rd year, and I'm still waiting to go on Damascus. I get excited hearing not just the kids tell me about what they did, but the teachers tell me about what they did. But because of COVID, we couldn't do it. And last year we offered an alternative, and it didn't hit the mark for us. This year we thought we were going on Damascus, but again, because of COVID and this time more restrictions put on by Brisbane Catholic Education, we couldn't do it. We couldn't safely meet the risk management and compliance measures to be able to run it again. So what we have put together is something different. So when we talk about the Year 9 camp students down there, we're not talking about Damascus. We're talking about a Year 9 adventure camp. And we've thought about the activities, and we've thought about the things that we're doing, and the group work and the teamwork and the collaboration, because we have an idea and a purpose in our mind about the growth that we want kids to go through. Those things are still the same as the old Damascus, but this is not that program. So I'd like to begin by welcoming Gary to come and begin the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming, and also the Year 9 students. Such a great group, the Year 9s, and often when we're teaching, I've been teaching over 20 years, so we often hear about, Year 9s are challenging classes, going through that lovely puberty stage and all that kind of stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. But the common feel with staff, I can tell you now, they are a loved group. Everyone talks highly of Year 9s. And I'm so blessed that I'm going to be able to go on this camp with the students. In a couple of weeks' time. They may not like that because I like to get up early. So if you like to sleep in late, I'll be after you guys. Just a quick one to get going. I've done this about 2 years ago with the Year 7s. I like doing this bit of analogy since the football's just happened. Hey, Alex. Usually have some really smart people in the crowd that wreck this straight away. So if you know the answer, please keep your hands down. Brad, what's the answer?
Year 9.
I don't have any special powers, but I can predict the score of any football game before it begins. How can I do this?
Previous game.
Previous games, an idea? What else? Any parents want to have a crack at doing this one? Yep.
It's It's 0-0 before it starts.
Well done. Before the game is scored, it starts actually 0-0. So we like to challenge our students about some different thinking when they come to class and get a bit of an opening happening for them. But yeah, gold medal for you. Well done. Good work. They say that you have 4 seconds you'll have an opinion of how I speak today. I speak very fast since it's recorded. You can look at that and slow down the dub if you like. And about 4 minutes to reconfirm your thoughts about how I'm going to present today. So for half of the crowd, I'll be in the good books because I've brought this along. Anyone like to wear that, they can. Alex, this is especially for you. We have a conversation about this, don't we?
2 more games, Woody.
It's an only so maybe for Mrs. Morshell in the library always wears New South Wales stuff, so if she's watching this, that's for you. All right? I couldn't believe they won actually. School camps, and most of you have probably been on a camp or had siblings or also young people been on a camp, but the important thing for us is I think that this is such a great place to be in where the kids get out in their environment. The students will struggle with this because there are no phones allowed, but it'll be a good way they can decompress, use their brains and also relax those brains and build some good friendships and bonds, which we know community is everything. So there's a few things there that we can look at later, but I love the idea that we can build social skills. A big one of actually students forming bonds with people they don't necessarily meet typically on a campus and to break down those bonds. So we're looking forward to going through that as well. We had to have a workaround, yes, with our camps. This was our Year 9 class today. There's a few of you here in the crowd looking at this. These group of boys decided that since it's such a small goal today in futsal, there's no way someone will score a goal if we cover the goal. So our camp's a bit like that with COVID. So we've had to go to Moreton Island this time. We can't go out west, but we're looking forward to the challenges out there that it also has as well. That was this afternoon. So hopefully it's not too much death by PowerPoint. I'll go through this fairly quickly because I would like to have more of a question and answer if that's okay at the end, because I know you probably have a fair few questions you might have. But I will say up front that only probably a couple of weeks I've been on board with the camp, and Mrs. Culpepper, Amy's done a lot of work with this, so I really appreciate the work she's done. So the organisation is Trailblazer Tours. They've done these tours for a long period of time, over 20 years I believe, so they're in good hands. We will compliment what they are doing, and I had a little clip to show you in a second, but just to give them, I suppose, the credibility they deserve, and I suppose the confidence that you have in this organisation. Medicals and police checks, the instructors, trained instructors, high standards, and also they want us to give them feedback. So even at the end of camp, we'd love to hear from yourselves what your children have said about the camp, because they might tell us something different. But it'd be great to hear some feedback too, so we can improve the tours moving forward as well. I've got a little bit of a clip here. I hope this works. Technology and I aren't very good friends, but we'll see how we go. I thought the students were going to sing for me, but this didn't work.
Welcome to Trailblazer School Camp, where great adventure is waiting to be had. All new places for everyone to explore, and incredible animals that swim around you to say good day. Snorkeling has never been so fun. If you feel like exploring the wrecks another way, we do have some kayaks that take you around there without even getting wet. Experience the true meaning of camping in a big way, with everything provided and taken care of for you. It's no wonder the kids and teachers have the best time on an island such as this one. Then try this once-in-a-lifetime experience with our luminescent kayaks that help see the clarity of the truly astonishing coral. And who knows, maybe you'll see a turtle too. Then come down to what only can be described as Australia's greatest slide. Down these dunes you can reach up to a top speed of 70 kilometers an hour with views that are sure to amaze. After you're done riding Moreton Island's roller coaster, learn all the information about Moreton Island and its rich history, or see whales come past as they breach with the most amazing view. so many extraordinary destinations, and even some old World War II bunkers. Moreton Island, it really is the true school camp destination.
Okay, so yeah, as I said, they've been doing this for a while too. So again, our trip will be dictated again of what we can and can't do based on the tides and things. So although you see a lot of great activities there, we'll have to finalise some of those things based on the tour and the conditions also when we get over there. But we have got a bit of a leniency of what we can and can't do over there. Sample accommodation, we will be in tents over there. We had a bit of a joke with the students saying that the teachers be in high-rise accommodation. That's actually not true. We actually get shipped back over. No, we don't. We stay with you guys. So
You're on the floor as well.
we'll be on the floor as well, so don't worry. So the tents you see there, the students are in groups of 4 in tents. I've got most of the students have written down their names of who they're in with each of the tents. So if there's any issues with that, if you hear that from your children or child when you get home, please make sure they come and see me, and I'll try and accommodate with them with a couple of friends in the tents. I want them to feel comfortable there. So here's some sample itinerary, and again, this depends on the tides and the winds and that kind of stuff, what we can do. But we're having a nice little early 6:30 a.m. start at school. So I can see some students with their mouths open going in. Right. So hopefully you're off your crutches by then so you can get there nice and quickly. But faring to Moreton Island, you can on the first day bring your own lunch. Otherwise they do have like a little tiny, kiosk on, but it's only pretty limited.
Sausage rolls,
Yeah.
sandwiches.
So you can bring your lunch for the first break. There's snorkeling and kayaking. We just have to make sure we can get through that. Unfortunately, when you look through some of the stands from Department of Education, BCE, snorkeling is seen as an extreme sport, like as in can be dangerous. So we just got to make sure the conditions are right for our students and the group numbers are appropriate for us. So safety is number one. We're hoping to do that. But I know Mrs. Culpepper's actually gone through and actually asked them what is the ratio of instructors to students, etc. So we definitely don't want to lose that privilege of them having that opportunity, but we just got to see how we go. And there's also kayaking there as well. There's a massive campfire there. There's a cooked marshmallow competition that is judged by me. So every person must make a marshmallow and give me at least half of that marshmallow. Students, you listening? And we'll go from there for the competition. We're also allowed to do some fishing. So I'll be taking groups at night time and early morning if they're keen to go fishing. They can bring their rods to do that, and maybe just a small lunch box or something that can actually close nice and firmly for the hooks, etc. they bring, and I'll bring some spare tackle as well. So students who are really keen to go fishing or keep me up all night, they'll be fishing with me also in the morning. We have some discovery. They did some discovery tours. You can read that yourself. There's a lot of stuff that's around the history of Moreton Island, which is education as well, but fun. I think it's good to learn about our backyard as well. We have a senior experienced teacher who's coming along with us, who's been in the area for a long time, never been to Moreton. So I think it's an education experience for the staff as well, which is great. Feel free to jump in if you like. All meals are provided there. Again, we want to try and see if we can get some sandboarding in there, some more hikes. There's going to be some beach game activities, so we've got roughly 9 or 10 staff in total coming along, so we'll do some activities too with the students, so they're not just sitting on the beach getting bored and just sunbaking, so we want to make sure that's fun for them as well. On that last day, as you can see, there's a pack up, depart the ferry at 3:30 and return approximately back at school at 6 p.m. So if there's any people who are late coming back for that, obviously we'll be there with the students until you guys come pick them up.
So can I just jump in here and say, so we've chosen the itinerary really, really carefully, and when we do this, it actually looks like, oh my God, this is a holiday. And to a great extent it is, because it's Moreton Island, it's a beautiful island. A couple of challenges though, we're going in winter, and I'm just being told to get in front of the film, and because we're going in winter, it's cold. So that's the first challenge of an evening, okay? It's also not necessarily the best climate when you're getting into the water. So we will be wearing wetsuits and things like that for the different water-based activities that we're doing. So it's really important to know that. But when we look at all these activities, we go, well, how are they going to grow? It looks like they're just going to be entertained for a few days. But we've chosen the activities to challenge. So what you might not see there, because there's just a lot, and we don't get our itinerary given to us. We put in what we want to do, what we want to get out, what the purpose of each thing is. We get our itinerary given to us when we, actually about a day before we go, because it's based on the tides. So what we do is based on the tides. So we might say that what we want to do is a snorkeling on that first day, but we may not be able to do snorkeling until the third day because of the tides. We want to make sure that under our risk assessment and compliance, we're choosing the safest time. We're choosing a time when the tide is out so the kids don't get exhausted swimming 200 meters to the wrecks or whatever it's going to be. We have a hike, and that's to challenge them mentally. So we're not just going down a sand hill. We've got a 10-kilometre hike around Battery Point and all the different areas of World War II and all the bunkers and everything, and then a summit to Mount Tempest, a 2.5 climb to the top. The kids have to know that they can do it, that we have to fight through this mental challenge, that you can do it, you work as a team, we'll leave no one behind. Now we have, obviously there'll be kids that will have a couple of special conditions and adaptations and adjustments, and we're working with families, and we continue to talk with families this week and next week on how we adjust those things. And that's why we take so many staff, and that's why we work with an organised a group of people who have accreditation in different things. But it was important that you know that. The other thing, the other element is a service element, and we are involved in working with, I think it's called Ocean Crusaders. They work, who's ever heard of them, Ocean Crusaders? Yeah, they work in not just Moreton Island, I suppose, they work right around, and they clean up the waterways, they clean up the beaches, they make sure that the turtles and the ducks and the birds don't die and sink to the bottom because of the plastics that they're ingesting. So we're working with them. So part of it is a service element where our students are also going to be doing that. So this looks amazing, but please know that there is a lot of thought into the activities and how we're doing things and why we've chosen things. Thank you.
Nice. So you can talk about some of those things too at the end if you want to hang around too for a coffee, or have some open discussion as well. Here's some of our spare time activities that we can do as well. I'm asking some of the staff what they would like to do. One of the girls in Year 9, I asked them to go into the Year 9 cohort and give us some ideas of what they would like to do on the beach too. So it's not just the activities we think that students would like as challenging, and also building leadership within those games. So they've brought back about 10 or 12 activities too they'd like to do. So if that fits in with the staff expertise, we'll do that as well. Again, sample menus of food. So I know some people have students here or children here have allergies. So make sure you put those in the right way. So I'll show you at the end how to do that if you have not done that already, to let us know any dietary requirements. I know one of my little ones is celiac, so that's a massive thing. We've got some celiac people here, so we can look after them so they get sick over the island as well.
Can I talk about this? Okay. Again, a reminder that we're going to a remote island. Thank you, Ripley. We're going to a remote island, okay? We're going camping. The students will be setting up their own tents, and they will be organising their own areas. But there will be one big, gigantic camp kitchen in a particular location. I can't remember if it's Blue Lagoon or Honeymoon Bay, okay? One big camp kitchen. There will be power. There will be electricity, mostly solar and generated, for refrigerators and things like that. But when you go to an island and you're doing a camping, you have what's called bulk food. So the bulk of the students will be getting the same menu. That is why it's so important for families to let us know about allergies, about intolerances, about not so much picky eaters. It's really important that we can tell the difference between a picky eater and somebody who can eat something, all right, and won't have a reaction to it because it's bulk food. But there are families too that need to let me know if there are issues where they might need to bring their own food for their children. And if that's the case, some of you have already done that. If that's the case, please see me this evening, or drop me a quick email tomorrow so that I can make sure that we are catering for that. The providers of the Camp Trailblazers have a separate fridge freezer for medications and for scenarios or situations where people have to bring different food for their kids. This is a sample menu, this is not the menu. Thank you.
All right, so I'll move on. This is being put into the Year 9 Teams page. So if students go into the Year 9 Teams page, which they all have access to, it'll tell them exactly what to bring. I definitely said to bring a beanie over there. I don't think it's a bit of fashion contest over there on the island, but just make sure the students are rugged up. As we know, it's freezing cold right now. You can imagine what it's like if the wind's coming off that water. So a couple of really warm jumpers, making sure you've got those beanies, and maybe even a couple of garbage bags so you can put your wet clothes in as well. So I know it sounds a lot of common sense stuff. I don't mean to be patronising anybody, but it's really important we get people over there.
Sorry, I know questions at the end, but will we get a copy of that as well?
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
Yep,
definitely. I can send it out. I was under the impression it went out with the parent paper slip. It didn't. So my apologies. I will send that out to all families. When I'll be sending out the link to this, so some people might want to watch it again if they thought it was entertaining. But you'll have a copy as well of the what to bring list. And one of the most important things to say, you'll see that there's a giant, fashionable luggage that goes to Europe often. We can't take that because the kids will be dragging that for almost 1.4 k's on the sand. So it's a backpack or a duffel bag. I think that's what you guys call it. I'm a backpacker, so we need a small backpack and maybe a duffel bag with all your big things, your pillows, etc. Okay.
And my understanding is they have mattress there, so they
Yes.
have to bring blow-up mattresses or things like that. So don't take extra luggage you don't need to, students, because you'll just be carrying that as well. Okay, so yeah, we'll make sure that goes through. Thanks for that question. So I thought students had that in there. Don't forget, students, you've got that in your Teams page as well. That's not much to do with you guys. That's just what the students have come to see me with regard to the tenting, the camping arrangements. There will be, just based on the land at the moment over there, there will be now a setup of boys and girls separate. And there's reasons because of that on the Indigenous land over there. So it's a bit of a hike for one of the other groups to move across. So males on the male's side, girls on the girls' side.
Yeah, so I think it's important to let you know that we were notified this week about a change within the Indigenous, the way that the Indigenous area is managed. And we've been told that all Trailblazers and all the camping organisations have been actually told that you cannot have more than 60 people in one campsite. It's to do with the facilities and the management and all the things that get ruined, and revegetation, etc. So they've set up 2 separate campsites. So all our activities, the boys and the girls will always be doing everything together. Well, divided into small groups, but together. We meet together every morning, we have our breakfast, we decide what we're doing, we go out to all our activities, we do those things, we come back, we have our dinner together, we have our after dinner games and activities. But when it's time to go to sleep, remember that, guys, there is a time that we go to sleep.
7:30.
Okay. When it's time to go to sleep, because we will all be tired, we load, the gents will be loaded onto the bus and they will travel down the beach to their campsite, which you're going to be at. So, so that's what's going to happen. So consequently, I was told today that the girls will be in tents of 4, but the boys are going to be in tents with only 3 people in them. So they're different tents at the different locations. So we're doing a little bit of juggling, and we'll be going back to some students, especially the boys, to make sure that everyone's got someone in the tent that they want to be with. Okay? So we'll put a lot of thought into this, and we ask the kids about this.
So we'll do that tomorrow. So the students are starting to stress out why their 4 best friends not being together. We'll do that tomorrow during our pause lessons, so you guys are feeling comfortable with that. And again, dietary requirements, I know Amy's just spoken to you about that. Just please make sure they come through. Angela Breen from the offices had this as well. Now we'll also send this PowerPoint home with you as well. But this is your way to make sure you have all your items listed, please. Chemist labels must be on there with your child's name, it's important. Making sure we get it in by Thursday, so it's done. Also, making sure you have your label on them, as I said, and in a Ziploc bag. So just common sense things before. Look, I hope you've got confidence in us taking your children away. I've done about 13 ski trips before, so I get it. I know it's a pain to get things exactly right and exactly ready. Please email us if you have any questions. I know we're on the website, but I'll put both our email addresses up there if that's easier. Just take some photos at the end. Please, no question's a dumb question. So I'd rather your students feel confident, safe, and you're feeling safe also when you come across there to the island. All right, so another thing too, and we don't want to jinx anything, but if your son or daughter, sons or daughters are feeling sick it's almost best they don't come. And I don't mean that in a negative way. You know, it sounds very negative, because it's a hefty fee for you to come across here to pick them up. There was a gentleman, I won't name names, who was trying very hard to have his son come along to the camp, which was great. And I was having 3 or 4 phone calls with this gentleman and said, no, definitely want him to go to the camp. Unfortunately, they were going, or for us, unfortunately, they were going to a holiday earlier. He wanted his son to catch the last ferry back on a Wednesday night, but because the students are under 16, that parent had to come across as well, and it was going to be too expensive in the long run. So unfortunately, we lost that child coming with us. But just remember that if that's the case, if someone is sick and there's a risk of COVID, etc., it will be the parents coming across and then the parent paying to come back as well. So if your children are sick, it's one of those things where it's you might have to have that sort of hard choice to make.
Now, having said that, I'm sure no parent wants to hear the word evacuation, okay? But should we be in a situation where there needs to be a scenario where there is an evacuation, we use the Coast Guard. We call 000. Trailblazers also evacuate, and they can evacuate in as little as an hour. There is a helicopter landing on the island. I think it's near where the resort is, etc. So we have looked at all of these things in our risk management and compliance planning, okay? But there is, the MyCat is only once a day when it's outside of school holiday periods, but there is also the flyer, the Tangalooma flyer, 4 times a day. That's quite expensive, but there's that option. And should we need emergency evacuation within the hour, we're able to do that with Coast Guard and through the helicopter. So we've looked at all these things and we want to reassure you, okay?
I think that's about it. That's the last one. Is so the medication needs to come to Ange Breen at the Student Services, please. Even if it's ready to go, that would be fantastic. So I guess at the end, is there any questions? Question is, what is this PowerPoint?
Yes.
You know what it is. Yes.
Firstly, I'm a little bit old school with the Damascus, and I know you mentioned that we're not doing that. But will there be other activities through the year for the children on their journey of, through grade 9? Because I know that was a big focus of Damascus, of the year 9 being a focus. So will there be other activities as well, or have you just got the exam?
So we do the retreat. Thank you, Ripley. So we do the retreat. It's just so that people at home get to see someone. We do the retreat at the beginning of the year, which is like, I suppose, a spirituality, religious retreat, but it's a growth retreat. We deal with different things now through the PAUSE program, which is a pastoral and wellbeing program, which is on Fridays, which is a more regular program than when we used to have formation. We look to see what were some of the things that we thought we wanted to get at, or we believed children were getting out of Damascus, which was about personal growth. It was about challenging mindsets. It was about mixing with students that were not necessarily in their group. We've now got what we believe is something that can do that as well, but then it's the ongoing stuff that happens during the year. There is another retreat later on but it's a 1-day retreat, and there's different things that we're thinking about, but we are not trying to replicate what Damascus was, because I don't feel you can do that. What Damascus did was took children so far out of their comfort zone and away from home that the growth happened through that. We can't, unfortunately, we can't do that close to home, because they're going to go home, they're going to go to their comfort levels, they're going to go back on their computers, they're going to do all those things. We can't replicate that with just one-offs here and here, etc. So this is our activity this year.
Do you require the kids to have reef shoes for swimming and snorkeling stuff?
No, so everything that is required will be provided by Trailblazers, and they're actually a snorkeling school. So when we go, we hope we can do this. We are very much of the belief that we are going to be doing this. It's just we've had to change to meet requirements from BCE and from our very own school, our leadership team. We've had to change numbers and groupings and things like that. And so we're waiting back on Trailblazers saying we can definitely do it for you in this way. But everything is provided, and they're not Skinner suits, whatever they're called. They're good wetsuits. I've been told they don't need reefers, but they get flippers.
Yeah,
whatever they're called. Flippers?
Fins.
Fins. Thank you. I don't have any on my feet, so fins. Beautiful. Any other questions about food, medication? medication, sleeping arrangements.
This slide was actually for the students to see if they were still awake. So it's actually, can you see the bunny amongst the cat? Can you see the bunny amongst the cats? It's got nothing to do with camp, so it's okay. It's a bit random.
I can't see. I can see a yellow cat. This is the only time that the students woke up.
Can either parents stop looking, please? It's actually about the kids.
A word about mobile phones. A word about mobile phones and technology. We ask students not to bring, thank you, we ask students not to bring their mobile phones. Did I get it wrong, sir?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that why you never answer my emails?
That's right.
Ah, there you go. We ask students not to bring iPads, not to bring laptops. This does happen, okay? And definitely not to bring their mobile phones. It's a technology-free experience. Should students crop up with these things, then we will pop them in a Clip-Lock bag, put their name on it, we store them safely and they get them back. We have communication on the islands. We will have, well, there's a lot of places you can go that there's actually no internet access whatsoever, except for where the MyCat lands in a couple of spots like that we go to, Mount Tempest, etc. But we will have communication facilities, we will have mobile phones, we will have the ability for people to contact home should that have to happen. We won't say, of course you can't call home, you know, we'll never say, suck it up, and all that stuff that children are told. No, that's not compassion, that's not caring or supporting someone. But you don't need to have it in your hand as a safety net. Okay? Questions?
Disposable cameras
Yes.
allowed?
Disposable. Can you say that word for me? Disposable cameras are very much allowed, and the kids get those ones that go underwater as well. But just your own. Remember, we all had those little cameras. All of a sudden we got a phone, so we don't believe that we have little cameras anymore. Just those little cameras, if you've still got them at home, you know, charge them up. They had a little card and bring them along. So, but yeah, you're most welcome to take those photos. Unfortunately, we can't control what happens when someone takes a photo with a mobile phone and then shares it, and it's still a school event. So we want to be able to control through social media and your consent forms and all those things that we've got, what we put out into the community about our experience, and we want to protect your kids. Okay?
Will you set up a Morton Island camp
Page?
yeah, sort of page like Instagram, like you used to have for
I
domestics?
don't know about I'll have to check. All right, I don't want to say yes and then find out it's a big no, but I will check, and we can definitely send that out to all families as well. So, and I know that any photos that we take, we'll be able to put on a page for parents to also copy, okay? Because they will meet the consents, community consent, all those different things that we sign. We do that for a reason. Any other questions?
What about taking snacks?
Yes, most definitely for morning tea, okay? And I know that kids will bring lollies and chips and things like that. It's amazing where they stash them because we never find them till right at the end.
They will be sampled and shared.
We don't see them until the last day when we go cleaning, and then we find everything, okay? Look, that I don't have a problem with that. You know, to be honest with you, but we do ask that you limit the lollies and the chocolates and things like that, because in the end, and I'm going to say this out of compassion, but also a little selfishness, if I'm allowed to have that. I don't recorded that word, just a little selfishness. We're going over there as well as teachers, as people leaving our families. We need to be in tip-top shape to look after your children. And sometimes when they eat too much at night of the sugar, chocolate, lolly variety, they don't go to sleep, which means that we don't go to sleep, and we have to be supervising your kids the next day in what are some of these potentially high-risk activities. So if you could please limit those things so that you understand that we all need to rest and they need to sleep, and that's going to make everything safer the next day. I don't know if I've said that in a nice way. I hope I have.
Can I request no nuts, please?
Yes. So we do have currently, I think, 6 students with nut allergies. And even something as simple as people bringing chocolates, that can cause issues. So most certainly. So we will, going back from today, take down a few things and then send them out as a request to families for you to talk to your children about what not to bring. And sometimes it may seem like a little mean, but it's life and death for other people. Okay, I hope I haven't been confrontational there,
Yeah.
but it's important that we consider other people. And that's part of the Damascus growth. Stop thinking about you and what you're missing out on, and consider the impact on you and what you're doing and what you're eating on others. That's part of growth and caring for other people. Okay?
I think just being over at that reserve would be important too, with obviously with rubbish, because also rubbish comes with lollies and stuff, so we'll definitely recommend obviously no chewing gum and bubble gum and stuff like that, because we don't want that image on ourselves lying around as well, so yeah, just common sense stuff.
Beautiful. And I hear the whales have come in. It's going to be beautiful. Okay. Yes, I can see your hand.
What are the amenities like there?
Yes. Yes, everybody asks me about that. Look, we're in a national park, and being a national park, we're talking about what they call the drop toilet. Okay, there's no don't laugh. There's
Parents are
no
laughing.
flushing. There's no flushing. The drop toilet. And recently, the Trailblazers have just told me, I think I might have read it to you, that a young girl's phone. She had a phone. And the young girl's phone, I believe she was from Peter Claver. She didn't get the briefing as well as I'm giving the briefing to our students. Her phone fell in. Okay? We never retrieve that. It's
All those
gone
visual people out
forever.
there, we apologise.
So it's a drop toilet. Because it's a drop toilet, when we meet tomorrow with Damascus, we are going to be talking to the boys and the girls a little bit separate too, with regards to how to manage certain stages in their life when they're on a camping experience. We also have showers. But look, we don't have, 10 rows of toilets and 10 rows of showers. I think they're rows, whatever they are, cubicles, okay? We may have 3 toilets and 3 showers at each campsite. And part of that growth is about managing that. There's no 20, 30-minute showers, there's 2-minute showers, okay? There's none of that, the 5 of us, let's go hang out at the toilets, because they smell. So all of that management of what's it like to be in a camping experience, okay? Has that answered the question well? And feel free to bring toilet paper, because that always runs out in the national parks. So,
There's another question over here.
Oh, no, mine was the same about like the kind of toilet hygiene.
yeah, so we'll talk to, I'll be talking to the girls, and Gary, you've got the
And
boys.
we'll bring all the hand sanitizer and stuff like that, so we've got heaps at school, we bring those over as
Yes.
well.
So we'll talk about how to keep clean. But there are washing facilities, there are showering facilities, and there's the ocean. And the ocean is wonderful. So, cool. Any others? Kids, you're all like going, I'm not sure what we signed up for.
And Nikki, did you find the rabbit?
Did you?
Did you?
Point it
Did any
out.
adults find the rabbit? Yeah, where's it?
All with the tall ears there.
Ah, there you go. All right.
I don't even know why I
guys.
did that, I was just see if you guys were awake.
It was pretty good.
I'm talking to the students, by the way, sorry.
You do
We
it all
actually
the
wanted
time.
to do a speed dating activity. All right. So guys, look, we're bringing this to an end. It's a long night. You're more than welcome to stay around and speak with Gary and myself. There's tea and coffee.
Emails
If you've
are
got
there.
any questions, our emails are there. I've got pen and paper for anything I need to take back and find out for you, and we will communicate back to you this week.
Thank you for coming out on a cold night, really
Thank you.
appreciate you coming out.